Welcome to A Certain Style of Podcast, episode 17. Today, we're celebrating Back to the Future Day. It will be October 21st, 2015, when this podcast goes up and you are listening to it, and that's the day that Marty McFly went back to... forward in time to 2015. Or did he go back? I don't know. It's time travel, and you can go wherever you like. Sorry, Tim and Andy are here. Just bring them up. How are you guys doing?
Very well.
Yep, good, thanks.
Are you excited that this day has finally come around after years of internet speculation of the date and getting it wrong?
I am quite happy because it used to come up on Facebook all the time, people posting it like on the wrong time. So
Learn longer shall they deceive us.
Although I bet you next year someone will bloody post it up there.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. They'll be doing it for forever. It's a meme. And they never die. Cool. All right, so yeah, we're going to spend the day talking about Back to the Future, probably most of all, but a little bit of other time travel films that pique our interests. All right, we have a ton of stuff on the table this week for those watching the video podcast.
I'm quite excited.
Yeah, if you haven't watched the podcast before, I would suggest you do so in this episode because there is a lot of cool Back to the Future related stuff on the table. Present said goods.
This is a photograph.
Correct. That is the photograph that they took when they went back to the Wild West in Back to the Future 3, and it's a really crummy quality. That's either because it's cheap giveaway stuff from a DVD or it's authentic. And yeah, Tim's got the coolest thing in the world.
This is so cool. Okay.
So this is the picture that Marty carries with him, and as he messes up time, his family disappears. And it's a lenticular 3D thing.
Yeah, lenticular postcards.
So when you flip it, they all disappear, and it's very cool, and it came free with the Blu-rays, so I would recommend going and buying that, and then you'd have it as well. What else have we got?
Shall I try and show the hoverboards a bit better?
Yeah,
so
we've got
precariously placed
a bunch of postcards from Back to the Future 2 showing all the hoverboards. We'll get into that later. We're going to talk about hoverboards today.
Got an almanac.
Yep, sports almanac. That's not the full thing though. You can actually buy a replica of that.
Oh really?
Yeah,
full
which
size?
I guess. Yeah, but the thing is, it's like someone's slaved away and written all the content for that, and it's not really, you don't really know any of that stuff from the film, so they could just write whatever they want. It's just lots of random sports fixtures.
Yeah.
I bet they had some fun coming up with horse names because they're stupid at the best of times, let alone when someone's bored and making
life is kind of
shit
stranger than fiction. I imagine that's quite hard.
Yeah, maybe just lots of horses called Tim, Andy, Guy. They just ran out of names and just decided to go for the ones that people they knew. All right, so it's not really Back to the Future 1 and 3, it's mostly just Back to the Future 2 that this day celebrates. It's weird when a time crosses over. I wasn't old enough when it came to, sometime in 97, which was Terminator, which was Judgment Day. So back in the 84 when they did Terminator 1, they were like Judgment Day happened 97, but I don't really remember that.
Is that when Terminator 2 came out? Around about then?
No, Terminator 2 was before that. Titanic was 97.
So
It was a James Cameron film, so he was doing Titanic. He couldn't have been doing Terminator 2. Terminator 2 was a early 90s film, I think. But
yeah, I don't remember it being a big event in 1997.
Yeah, I don't remember Killer Robots.
We're all going to die. That's another thing they put on the internet all the time. There's always someone who thinks the world is going to end on this particular day due to their whatever they believe, or they're just trying to scare people. I don't know. It's ridiculous. There's always an asteroid or something coming to kill us all.
Probably always is.
Yep, that's true. Well, cool. All right. What are your did you guys see Back to the Futures in the correct order, or did you see them out of sequence when you were growing up?
In the right order.
Yeah.
And no, go on, Andy.
Yeah, no, I did. I think I can't remember if I saw the second one at the cinema, but I definitely saw the third one at the cinema. But yeah.
Cool. I didn't get to see any at the cinema. I was too young, I think. But favorites?
Obviously the first one, and I do enjoy the third one. I think the third one's better than the second one.
Yeah.
I think we've. But I found out today that they actually filmed them back to back.
They did.
Which I didn't realise.
2 and 3 were filmed back to back and released, I think, summer probably, back in the days.
Well, I mean, hoverboards and cowboys, you can't go too wrong.
Thing is, I don't know. Sorry, Tim. What was your? You say 1. Are you still on 1?
Yeah, I'll be 1. Yeah.
Well, no, you don't have to be.
No. I mean, it's a rare trilogy where I could happily enjoy watching any of them. And if I'd seen one more recently than another, I would see another one very happily. Whereas with other trilogies, I'd probably have a stronger preference.
Yeah, because I remember when I was a kid, because I guess I was relatively young, I enjoyed 2 quite a lot because it was the one that was future-y and it was like cool. Well, and I guess it was still early enough to kind of be like in my child head, we're gonna get that stuff. We're gonna get all of that. And in 2015, we've got some of it, but not in the way that the film told us we would get it.
Stuff like flying cars and hoverboards, we haven't got.
No, we kind of have.
Well,
we kind of have. Everyone, we've got a list of stuff, thanks to The Guardian, but everyone's literally got the list of things that Back to the Future predicted and either did or didn't come to fruition, or maybe they got very wrong. They got a lot of stuff right, which is weird. Like,
yeah. That's not to say they were the first to think of these things.
No. It's just it's nice. I think it's a very difficult thing to do on film when you're doing a feature film, trying to project the technology of the time into the future and it be accurate. It's like you're never going to get it right, but they got a few things.
Yeah, at least there was like everyone wasn't living on Mars or something, which kind of it was fairly basically life was just like fairly normal. They had more gadgets. Some of them were a bit crappy and didn't work properly, which is kind of fairly true. So yeah, I think it's fair enough. They did do pretty well.
Do you think that like hoverboards is the big example? Do you think hoverboards exist now because Back to the Future made them cool?
It's a bit of a paradox.
A little bit, like. Would people have put so much like effort into putting them out there, like especially trying to come up with them before this date, because it's kind of cool to have built a hoverboard, like a company is like gonna aim for that date.
I think it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. When they put that in, they were saying, right, future people in 2015, you have to invent a hoverboard. Otherwise we're all going to be really disappointed in you.
Or did the idea in the film come from the fact that somebody got hold of a hoverboard from the future?
Oh God,
I doubt it, because the hoverboards from now are so rubbish.
It could be from a long way in the future.
Well, yeah, you still can't steer them regardless.
No, they require a metal rail under the floor, right? They're not like, they can't just go on anything.
There's 2 different types, aren't there, or 3 or whatever.
Are there? There 3?
There's a Kickstarter coming out that's based on a leaf blower.
Yeah, well, there's a guy who's made like a leaf blower one. He's the one that's flew the furthest, I think, or something like that. Yeah,
flew.
Well, what do you call it? I mean,
there's a guy who has like a sort of glorified drone that flies. He's flown over the water.
Yeah.
Is that cool? I've not seen that one. That must be noisy as hell.
Yeah, the
but you don't get that in the video.
No.
Surprise.
Yeah.
But it's got 2 foot pedals, doesn't it? That you
he's
tilt with your
actually
feet
steering it. He does it over water.
What I like about it, maybe this adds like a whole new like dynamic to filmmaking. It's like, what do I want to be invented? Make a successful franchise, and then someone will go and make it.
Yeah.
Hello, Star Wars.
yeah, we're looking at you. Like, I don't. I saw a thing the other day, and they were asking if you'd rather have like, was it force powers or a lightsaber? And there was actually a debate about that. It's easy. You don't want a lightsaber.
Yeah,
because you need force powers to use a lightsaber. But what would you say, Andy? That's my.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
I think you basically just got a sort of a hot sword. If you can't lay
a hot sword.
Yeah.
The lightsaber.
Yeah.
We should do a promotional film for the lightsaber.
Have you seen the film Spaceballs?
Yeah.
I think, do they have a
ring?
Why is it that they have a knife that's in like a mini lightsaber for cutting butter?
Oh, I don't know.
Is that
might-
in Spaceballs?
it might not
or
be
is that
Spaceballs.
something-
It
maybe
sounds
it's
like-
someone else.
It sounds like the
I
thing you would do.
remember.
I
Make
mean,
it.
you
What if
can
everything was a
kinda get-
lightsaber?
You can kind of get like fuse wire knives, can't you?
Yeah.
Which do a similar thing, but not a lightsaber.
No.
Yeah. So what would you like in the future, Guy? What film?
What would I like
are we
to
gonna
make?
create? Yeah.
Time machine. It's Back to the Future, but no one's made it yet. I think we need to make more time travel films so that people remember that time travel needs to be invented.
Doctor Who?
I don't like Doctor Who.
No, I know. That's why I brought it up.
Let's not talk about Doctor Who. I can't talk about Doctor Who. Matt Smith was in Terminator. We're going to talk about Terminator maybe a bit later on, and he's in it for like 2 seconds.
I don't remember.
It's quite off-putting. It's another one of those, like we were talking about Simon Pegg being quite off-putting when he's in big Hollywood films, and then you see
Anything serious?
yeah, but he, like things like Star Trek and Mission Impossible. Like we've had so much of him as in a comedic role. When he's in something like that as comic relief, feel like there's no reason he should be on screen with Tom Cruise at any stage. And in this big $1 billion franchise of Terminator, Matt Smith is there for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
It's off-putting when stuff like that happens, but I think the Americans love it, and there are more of them than there are of us. Making our way down the list, biometrics is a thing. So we've got lots of like USBs and stuff now that work off of thumbprints, and that's
phones with
yeah. I choose not to use that because
eye scanning at the airport. On the fast track.
tends to be not fast though.
No, I've beaten people many a time who go through the thing.
I got told off at the airport. I went on holiday recently, and I got told off at the airport because I've got one of the chips, and Gemma doesn't. And I'm kind of like, because I've got it, I kind of want to use it. And the attendant overheard like Gemma saying, like she was going to go that way, and I was like, oh, I'll go this way. And she was like, stay with her, you meanie. I was like, oh, okay, all right, I'll go that way. And yeah, we beat all the people through the fast one.
Yeah. So technology is not necessarily
faster
or
more efficient. No. But they got that right.
Yeah.
Not on. I think door locks is a good application for thumbprints.
And until people start
Cut
cutting
thumbs
people's
off.
thumbs off.
But on a drunken night out, you lose your keys.
Yeah. They
Always
have
got your thumbs.
They have been able to hack those. You can take a thumbprint off someone and create a face.
The thing is, though, if you can take a thumbprint off someone, you can probably take a copy of their keys.
Yes, that's true.
So it's probably no less.
Well, you leave your thumbprints on everything. You go to the pub, leave your thumbprint on a glass. Someone takes glass and get into your house, get into your phone.
Yeah.
Steal your identity.
You can steal someone's life with their thumb.
Yeah.
They didn't. That's not something that's been highlighted very much in.
I wonder if you can take like little X-ray pictures of people's pockets to see what keys shapes they have.
Yes.
Well,
I don't know.
Sorry,
There's probably easier ways to break into.
Tim, you're a smart guy. You can probably go and do that.
Well, if it can
You'd
be
have
done,
to-
I'm sure there's
you'd have to
certain secret services doing
irradiate people occasionally.
What, in the crotch area?
Yeah. Wise.
That will single-handedly
I'm sure that exists if it can.
wipe out the human race. Eyewear.
Google
What are you looking
Glass.
at? What are you looking at, Tim?
I was just looking at the handles of the hoverboard and how they look so much like scooter handles and kind of a bit naff.
Well, they were naff. Like the hoverboard he
yeah,
steals
yeah.
is a girl's hoverboard. It's like the coolest looking one because it's all like
it's
pink
weird
and green.
how that
but
becomes the iconic one.
the girly one. Yeah.
kind of
Well, it's that
pink.
one. It's actually that one.
Yeah.
You can't quite see. What have they written there? McFlyboy.
Yes.
I don't know. That's concept art for the hoverboards. But yeah, it did come with a little handle that he breaks off. But yeah, I'd like a replica of that. I like my replicas. I would like the hoverboard. It's not gonna work, but it's just a cool
I'm
design.
surprised they haven't brought that out as a thing.
I'm wondering if they did. I'm not sure.
They should have brought that out. Their
Yeah.
merch team's not doing a good job this year. I think they could have.
So speaking of
Although
which,
they
when
had
are
a
the
special-
power laces coming out?
Power laces should be out. in 2 days,
Right.
really, as of recording this podcast. So
Have you seen a video of them being used?
No.
Have they released it?
No, they haven't. No,
Oh.
they
Do
basically
they actually work?
Well, no, they released the shoes a couple of years ago. I saw a pair when I went to the Back to the Future thing at the Albert Hall. I know we spoke about this before, but yeah, I saw a guy wearing a pair of those and really wanted to rob him and take the shoes.
How did he
but
get them?
He bought them.
Oh no!
really.
So they did
really
one
expensive.
edition which looked the same,
Right, but they didn't.
but they
weren't
didn't
self.
function.
Yeah, they had like
I see.
lights in, and they you can see a picture of them there. So
I
yeah, they
see.
literally made those.
Yeah.
I won't hold it up, but you can go online and search for them. And they're really neat replicas. I'm sure they fall apart if you wore them too much because they're not going to make them like regular shoes. But they said in the commercial for that, when they were making promo materials for those shoes, they said, "Oh, and Power Lace is coming in 2015." And that was kind of like a little joke, maybe. But they said after that yeah, we're going to actually try and get that done. So they'll release another line, and they will have the Power Laces. But not really heard anything. So.
No, it can't be that hard to do, surely.
Yeah, well, it seems
Who
like
knows?
not that difficult, but clearly they're struggling because I'm sure we would have seen something otherwise.
Yeah. You think coming up? Yeah, I've not seen a lot of.
There's some
Stuff.
DIY kits, like versions that people have done, aren't there?
I don't know. Are there?
Yeah, I think so.
What with like servos and stuff that
Yeah,
strap your shoe on?
Yeah.
Cool.
yeah.
They-
Heel sensor and batteries and
They should be commissioned, like the Star Wars guys who made the BB-8 droid, who got commissioned to basically make the droids for the Star Wars films because they could do a cool thing with robotics.
Oh, is that how it got made?
Yeah, they were like there were some people who were like testing that technology, and the guys who they hired to do it were basically. I think J.J. Abrams saw the technology somewhere else and then went to these like enthusiasts who were making like replica Star Wars stuff or just robotic enthusiasts,
Right.
and went, "Can you do this?" And they went, "Yeah." And then they went and did it, and then they made the practical ones for the actual films.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice when stuff like that happens. It's like fans getting to work on their films. It's yeah.
Yeah.
They should try and do that more often, because it's like even actors and stuff. Like sometimes you get actors and they don't really know. Like you get actors in Star Wars films, like I've never really seen a Star Wars film, and you just want to go get someone who has.
Yeah.
Whether they do a better job is debatable, but it's just like
Yeah, there's some argument that says if they've come for it with a clear mind, then they don't have any preconceptions, and they're not trying to copy anything that's been before. But then, yeah, maybe you need a bit of that enthusiasm.
I don't know. We will see on the night of December 16th when we'll go see Star Wars, because J.J. Abrams historically said that about Star Wars, that he wouldn't do it, and he did Star Trek because he wasn't a fan, and he did a good job of that, but now he's doing Star Wars anyway, so we'll see how that goes. Flying cars, they exist.
Not very good ones.
Nope, but they exist.
Do they?
Yeah,
They're basically
been on
planes
Firebox for like
that-
10 years.
Yeah, but
They're
yeah,
basically
exactly. Like none of them fly untethered, as far as I know. Or
It's still flying. Balloon flies, does it not? And you can tether a balloon.
okay, yes, but if a balloon is only flying when it's tethered, is it still capable of flight?
Yes, it is flying when it's tethered. It is flying, but it's tethered.
Okay.
It is keeping itself aloft.
So you said a hoverboard doesn't fly, but something tethered to the ground
No,
does.
because a hoverboard is hovering. I think there's a limit. It's like dwarfs and midgets. There's a height you reach, and then it becomes flying, not hovering.
That's not the definition of dwarf and midget, but anyway.
What's the
I think
definition of
the
dwarf and
definition
midget?
between, is it like,
I don't know.
you should say little person as well, but before if you,
What do I
cover
say?
little person or just short, where's the threshold?
So there are no dwarfs and
it's-
midgets,
It's to do
Not
with
anymore.
whether limbs
They're
are
li-
in
little
proportion
people.
or not.
and if they're in proportion, they are
I don't want to say because I'll get it wrong.
Little
speculate.
people.
No, one is one and one is the other.
Oh,
little
I
people
didn't.
with dwarfism.
So dwarfism is a thing.
I think so.
Moving on.
Yeah.
Hoverboards done. Jaws 19. They released the trailer for Jaws 19. This is like the only thing I've seen that's officially come out of like the Back to
it
the
was
Future
official.
camp.
That was a parody, sure.
Yeah, but it was an official parody.
they're going.
Oh.
Oh right.
They're not
I
going to make
didn't
it.
think it was really
I thought
up
it was
to
a
the-
fan thing.
No, I think it was an official.
Oh, you'd think they could have done a
Putting it
better
out.
job.
Yeah.
It's so bring it up. It's funny because did you guys watch it through?
Yeah.
You don't have to say.
Yeah, no, I
yes.
watched
I just don't remember it. I got
the
bored.
Jaws 19
No,
trailer.
they basically the concept of the trailer is they go through all the naming conventions and the subject matter of like Jaws.
I like the reboot
Whatever.
reference.
Yeah, whatever one they ended on in real life, they just like take it from there and then go on to the rest. But they basically spin crazy stories about what the shark could do, and in this day and age, it's not far away from the films we actually get, like Mega Shark versus Giant Octopus, which then turns into like Mecha Shark versus whatever that decides to fight that day. So those films exist. So that's actually a misstep in my opinion, because they're just trying to. Those films exist. It's like you're trying to be funny.
What's where the line between parody and reality blur?
What's an outlandish thing we could do do for the shark with the shark, and then they go, oh, they've made that into a film.
I did think that when I was it was a bit.
It's quite sad, in a way. Have you seen any of those films? We saw Birdemic. Remember that? I think I've seen the start of Mega Shark versus Giant Octopus, but didn't maybe finish it.
I saw
because who does
for Sharknado.
Oh, I started watching that. I couldn't finish that either.
I think I saw 5 minutes of that halfway through it.
I think I saw a clip of the guy who gets eaten and then cuts himself out of the shark with a chainsaw.
Wow. It's got the dad from Home Alone in it. It's good. Pretty cool.
The dad, like playing the dads from Home Alone in it.
Yes. The guy who plays the dad from Home Alone is in Sharknado.
I don't think I could recognise him.
Really? You're not?
No, I
You must. You
I
can't remember Home
him.
Alone.
Maybe, yeah.
You can't remember literally.
I remember the mum.
Everyone in that.
And
if I saw a picture, I'd be like, oh yeah, but right now.
It's him. It's him.
Okay.
It's him. They got lawyers on here. That's rubbish. Mobility aids. Nostalgia?
That's always going to exist.
Yeah, that's boring. Old money. Pizza. Pizza's kind of cool. Put a pizza in the microwave and it becomes a big pizza.
Yeah.
Is that a thing in
Did they
real
have
life?
microwaves in the 80s?
Was this before Fifth Element?
Yes.
It was, wasn't it?
Yes. It was.
Because they do that in Fifth Element.
Do they?
Yeah, I'm sure they do it in some other films. So, do you remember, like they put like a little whole roast chicken meal inside a little microwave thing and it comes out?
I don't like Fifth Element.
Oh, you what?
I don't like. It's
okay.
Shit.
Moving on.
It's a bad film.
It's awesome.
It's a bad film.
It's not a bad film.
So no, do we legitimately have food that, because we've got like 3D printers now that can print a pizza, so that's like a sidestep of the little pizza, big pizza thing. I think it tastes like shit, but you can do it.
Yeah, I don't think it's quite how they envisaged, but you're right. You could have like a little printing machine that you didn't even put anything in that pumped out pizza.
Faxes.
Yeah, they had a lot of
Did they
paper.
predict that there were a lot more faxes?
There were faxes everywhere in that house.
Yeah.
And that's not a thing that anybody does anymore.
You say that, but
yeah, with confidence.
faxes, yes, but there's like recently, or kind of recently-ish, some kind of like Kickstarter projects and such where you like Instagrams get sort of like printed out on marshmallows and things like that.
What?
Yeah. Like your photos get printed out onto marshmallows. And
I brought one of those for my sister. I brought two of those for my sister, yeah, last Christmas. I printed out a picture of Brian Cox, the professor, not the actor, or someone else we know, and the guy from the choir, Gareth Malone, because she likes both those people, so I printed them out marshmallows with a little quote from each of them.
And then did she eat the marshmallow?
Yeah. Sorry?
Did she then eat the marshmallow?
Yeah, she loves marshmallow. That was gone. Yeah. So yeah, I was thinking of the little round ones. I wasn't thinking like that, because the big one's kind of like novelty. You're not really going to eat that.
But yeah, I think also though there's a lot of sort of DIY projects of like people making little things that print out tweets and things like that. Not saying that that's going to be common, but I do think we will have a little bit of a swing back to some physical, like tactile things.
Does that mean we should go or go and buy a Game Boy printer?
Yes.
Cool. I want one of those. Remember that?
Yeah.
Little
do.
camera.
Yeah.
Went into your Game Boy and then
What
printed
did somebody
it out.
do with that recently? Somebody did something.
I don't know.
Hmm.
Took a picture of themselves with it. Maybe of their genitalia, because that's what most people do with cameras.
No, I can't remember.
Hmm.
Moving on.
That was supposed to interact with Perfect Dark when Perfect Dark came out on the 64. You were supposed to be able to take your picture with that camera and then put it in on the face of the character in the game.
Oh.
But they cancelled that before it came. I don't know if they did it in Japan, but it didn't make it over here. But that was the thing they were going to do. Kind of cool.
Nostalgia.
It is nostalgia. There's a 64 right there.
Hmm.
Never going to use it. Okay. Has anybody else seen anything kind of cool come out about Back to the Future in the run up to October 21st?
I saw Fox and Doc being interviewed.
Okay.
Did you send that?
No, it wasn't.
Well, it was
they-
an interview. They were just talking
yeah.
over the diner table.
They were doing basically what we just did, and what pretty much everyone is going to do. They have, they got Christopher Lloyd and Michael J. Fox in a diner, chatting about the technologies that they got right and got wrong in Back to the Future, and it's a promotional thing for Toyota, but that's coming out, and it's nice. I like seeing those two together.
Yeah.
It's
They
really
seem
cool.
to be getting on
Yeah, well, the YouTube
well.
comments
Yeah.
were like, I could just watch this for a couple of hours.
Just on repeat. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's very cool, but Michael J. Fox is a little bit. He kind of needs to. He gets his lines out like, because I haven't seen him on screen for a while, and he just like has to basically burst his line. So it's
Yeah.
like say it as fast as he can, I guess, before something interrupts him.
Yeah.
But no, it's neat that they've done that. They've done a little short clip, which is all we've seen, but they're going to do a big one.
Oh, I did see. I don't think you sent this. I think I found this randomly by myself, which was somebody's put online the motion simulator video from Universal Studios of like the Back to the Future ride.
Yeah. I was so disappointed. I went a couple of years ago. It's not there anymore.
there.
I've been on it. And
I went on it when I was a kid,
really
and
cool.
watching it now, I was like, oh my god, I kind of remember that.
The dinosaur. There's a
I can't
dinosaur in
remember
it. There's a T-Rex. You kind of go in its mouth, right?
Yeah.
It was really good.
Have you been on it?
Yeah, I've been on it.
Cool.
Because you occasionally you can look round and you can see the
You
other
can see the
cars.
other pods, yeah. Because the great thing,
Because I guess it's one massive screen and there's about
Yeah.
6. Like
The thing I absolutely loved about that is like you get a very different experience depending on where you sit in that car. Because we did it like a couple of times, and one of the times we got to the front and we're on the front seat, and that's when you can really see down the line. There's literally like a couple of other DeLoreans, and you're actually going in a model DeLorean, not just like some random shaped pod that's better for making simulators, but you actually go in a DeLorean. But if you're at the front, you get like the little keypad, you know, the little numbers where he punches in the date, and you can press buttons, and there's also a little screen where the dot comes up.
Oh, right.
At the front, but you only get that if you're at the front, and I was like, it blew my mind when I got there, because we've been on it a couple of times.
Does it break the feeling when you can see all the other cars?
No, because the thing is, it's really good.
Yeah. And I guess when you're looking dead ahead, they sort of disappear off into your...
Yeah, you really looking.
Because I do.
I mean,
remember
it's of its time as well. But if you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend going and looking it on YouTube if you're a fan.
It's such a shame it's not there anymore.
Yeah.
It's now the Spider-Man ride, I think, or Men in Black, or something that you don't want to go on. No, maybe it's the Simpsons ride. Because
the Men in Black one was there at the same time.
Oh, was it?
But maybe we should make like a recreation.
Because the thing is, they would have, I guess, trashed all that stuff. You need some crazy rich guy to come in and go, if you're getting rid of that, I will buy all that stuff and I'll just store it.
I think you can get like motion like simulator sort of rigs for like a couple grand.
Someone's going to bring it out as a
make
VR.
like a model DeLorean on top of that.
Because it's like
your Oculus thing going.
Because they kept the Star Wars stuff and they've updated Star Tours like considerably now, and that's cool. It's like 3D and it's really neat.
I don't know what that is.
So Star Tours was MGM at the time, MGM Studios, which is now Disney. It's something. Anyway, there's a Star Wars area, and there was always a Star Wars simulator called Star Tours, and that got updated like a couple of years ago, and now it's still a simulator, but it's 3D and stuff, and it's like random. So when you go in, you get a different route depending on what they feel like showing you. So there's a bunch of different planets you can go on. Not every ride is not the same. So you go. We went on it at the end of the day, and if you go to a theme park, the end of the day is the best time to go on stuff because you literally just go round and round and round and round and round because there's no queues. So we went on it about 5 times in a row to try and get all the combinations.
Cool.
It's good.
Yeah, I remember that. As the
How
one
did
with
you
the
know that?
crazy.
I guess it tells you. I just know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It's cool.
Oh, I'm jealous.
The premise is you're in a transporter guided by a crazy robot.
Yeah, there's a
the
stupid
robot
droid.
just goes nuts and takes you on a massive detour and
Yeah.
stuff. It's fun. It's well done.
Yeah.
Can we
make
robots?
one of these videos?
Can we make
these experiences?
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Let's aim to do that.
It's really funny though, because looking at the video that was on the simulator, the motions that the video does are really strange, and you can exactly imagine that's correlating motion. Like it doesn't move at the right speed. And it's kind of almost like fixed access motion. It's a bit weird, but
So is someone actually taken the footage?
like the raw footage, not
so it's
from
not
like
filmed.
it's not filmed from inside.
Right, I see.
Yeah. Yeah.
They should definitely bring it back because they brought back the last time I went there, Michael Jackson had died, so they brought back Captain EO, which was the ride that was a little 15-minute film directed by Francis Ford Coppola, I think, and it's really neat. It's like a 3D experience, but it's like a little short sci-fi thing with Michael Jackson. But because he died, they brought that back. And when I went originally, when I was a kid, it was there, and then we named our cat EO after Captain EO. And I went back in 2012, I think, and because he died, they brought it back again. And it was there, and it was really cool seeing it. So I really want to see the Back to the Future thing because that had aged not badly because it was an expensive thing to do at the time, but seeing that stuff out of context, because they did put that online as well, so you can go and see the Captain EO film that they made, and it's odd when you see that stuff out of context.
I mean, I wonder whether a big reason why they got rid of Back to the Future was it wasn't...
No, it's not relevant anymore.
No, actually, I wonder whether it was just throughput. I wonder if the ride didn't allow them to get enough people through it.
Maybe, yeah, because you didn't get a lot in the essentially DeLorean.
Yeah. So
that's kind of lame, though.
They might not bring it back if that's a reason.
It just was kind of sad because when I went to Universal Studios, which is where that is, they're due for a really big reboot of that place because it was all kind of old and nothing was really looking great. So like the Jaws ride is just really bad.
Because I vaguely remember.
I can't
Jaws
believe
and
that's
that
still
good.
going. They got rid of, they keep that and
And even King Kong is gone as well. And King Kong was really good because that had like an animatronic King Kong and it's like life size and you can sort of just you go past it on your little tram cart thing and that was really neat. And yeah, they get rid of Back to the Future and now it's more relevant. Maybe it's more relevant than ever. It's like I say, it's not relevant anymore, but it probably is more relevant than
Jaws.
Yeah.
Well, easily.
Yeah. So why they?
Do they still have the Twister?
Yeah, that's still there with what's the guy's name doing the
Hudson from Alien.
yeah.
Bill Paxton.
Yeah. He's still there doing his talk, looking because that was like a late '90s addition to that to that ride. But no, that's still there with the flying cow. Yeah, that's all still there. Cool. All right. Well, I saw. Let's bring it back to the Future because that's what it's about. You'll like this, Andy. The vinyl. Did you see the vinyl that they're releasing from
yes.
Mondo Tees?
Looked
Released on Wednesday.
Is it?
Yeah. So 21st of
How
October.
much are they going for?
Don't care.
£3,000.
Doesn't matter. They're releasing. So Mondo Tees. Do you guys know Mondo Tees? So Mondo Tees do really cool artwork for t-shirts and posters, and it's really limited run stuff. But they take things like they've done Back to the Future before. They take like iconic films and do like poster sets for them. But they're really neat designs. They're like stuff you wouldn't usually see. And they do a vinyl selection. So they do a lot of odd films, and they release that soundtrack on vinyl with really neat artwork for the actual sort of cardboard sleeve that it comes in.
Is this where you got your Cloud Atlas?
No. This isn't them. But they did they're doing Back to the Future, so they've got like a 3-disc set which comes in another box which looks like the plutonium box from the film, and then in each one has a really cool piece of artwork.
Yeah,
for
I thought the
cover.
artwork was really good. It looked like it was done in the 80s.
Yeah. No, that's if you haven't checked them out, Mondo Tees, you'll spend all your money because everything's very limited, so you have to get in there early and get it. But I want to get one of those. But again, it's just a very small amount of stuff that they're actually pushing for Back to the Future Day. I thought there would be a ton more stuff, and I haven't seen a lot.
Maybe I felt I haven't probably seen any more than you, but I have felt like I'm getting a little bit saturated.
There's nothing on Facebook, there's nothing coming up on my Facebook feed, and that's not necessarily a good thing to gauge things by, but it's not like it's coming. I've watched that teaser with Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd in the restaurant talking about the future technologies, but there's nothing.
There was another teaser by...
There's nothing coming out of me going, watch this, it's coming. Back to the Future Day is coming. There's nothing like that.
I think there was another teaser I saw, which was the Doc, like, talking to camera. What was he talking about? I've completely forgotten.
He did the trainer commercial.
Maybe that's what...
A few years ago, when that first came out, he did the trainer commercial. No,
it was quite a recent thing.
I don't know.
Anyway.
I don't know. All right, do you want to grab some of those newspaper articles and read them out? We've got some replicas of the newspaper articles from... That would be Back to the Future 2. Also, the one Andy's got, Back to the Future 2. Read out some cool stuff.
Farmer sees flying saucer.
So this will be from the first one.
Yeah.
That's from the first one.
Yeah, this is Monday, November the 7th, 1955.
This one has about the Cubs sweep series in 5. Aren't the Cubs doing quite well?
Yeah, that's another thing they got right.
Yeah, so this could actually happen. I saw a headline that the internet may melt if the Cubs win the World Series. Cholesterol may be cancer cure. I can imagine that being a current.
I like the fact that everything's come around again. Like, it's gone from everything gives you cancer to everything pretty much cures cancer.
Yeah, apparently cheese is good for you.
Yeah, cheese is good for everything.
Like,
even if it's not, you can convince yourself that it's helping your body.
Here's another. Here, like, home prices increase. Home prices continue to soar out of control.
Yeah,
that's pretty.
Yeah.
Well, that'll be true forever.
Are these for the actual written in?
Yeah.
In
These are prints of the props that would have been.
Dear, they've got one badly wrong here. Queen Diana will visit Washington tomorrow, and the Capitol prepare.
Nope.
That didn't happen.
Very wrong. Back to the Future got that very wrong.
President says she's tired, so female president could be next year. Hillary
possible.
Clinton.
Yeah, that's possible.
It could be another Diana.
Yes, let's go with that. What else?
I just picked up another one.
Sorry, I'll just...
No, read it.
Thumb bandits strike after amputating thumbs of hospital patients.
Yes! There it is.
So they predicted this.
This is your future world. God, those thumbs.
Oh, we should try and write headlines for the next... Was it 2042, I think, is the same... Oh, no, it would be 45. 2045 would be the same time for for us now, jumping forward.
What, so
if we went 30 years in the future...
So when they first made Back to the Future 2...
Yeah.
When they made Back to the Future 2... 30 years until 2015.
Oh, no, sorry. Back to the Future 2 was... No, I was saying they go forward.
Because Back to the Future was 85.
Yeah.
It was made the year I was born.
So it'd be after that. Like...
Anyway.
What's he saying?
Something about dates. This is a time travel episode. We're supposed to be confused.
If we were making Back to the Future 2 now, how far in the future it would be set, and then we make predictions about So it'd be
So
like 2000.
85 minus 2015, like 2015 minus 85. Is that what you mean?
No.
All right, never mind.
Okay, so facts that are interesting that I found on a webpage. This one's cool because everyone absolutely hates Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull. Crystal Skulls?
Is that a time travel one?
Nope. But there's a really horrible scene with a fridge where there's a nuclear explosion, he gets in a fridge, and he's fine.
And he survives.
And then there are some CG gophers.
He survives
Because why
a
the fuck
nuclear
not?
explosion.
Have you not seen Indiana Jones?
Do gophers survive nuclear holocausts as well? Is that a thing?
Don't try and rationalize this. It's
This sounds bad.
It's
I knew
irrational.
I've seen bits of Crystal Skull and it looked bad, and now it's sounding even worse.
bits of it are fun. As a film, it's bad.
Yeah.
They in the early drafts of Back to the Future, the time machine was made out of an old refrigerator, so they could have fallen into that hole way earlier than Indiana Jones did. That sounds like something that would come out of Bill and Ted.
Now I'm imagining that Indiana Jones escaped in a DeLorean.
Well, just could mash up those films.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Well, he would have stood more of a chance.
Yeah, so that would have been that does sound like more of a.
Apparently, that fridge scene in Indiana Jones is not as implausible as you might think.
I know, but he flies an awful long way in it,
Oh, yeah.
and it's like if you're shielded from the radiation, the land's gonna kill you, and then he opens it up and there's some gophers, and that
What do the gophers do?
they're just there. It's because George Lucas was there going, add some gophers. And Spielberg went, okay.
Oh dear.
That's I don't like to bash George Lucas, but I have a feeling someone had a hand in that because Spielberg's usually pretty rational.
So I think it was something like that acceleration and that force they calculated you could survive in the fridge with broken ribs or whatever. But the thing that didn't make any sense was that the fridge got ahead of the shockwave, which it would never do.
Cool. Good.
There you are.
Good. We've made sense of it.
Someone's analysed it in detail.
It's the internet.
All right. So Princess Diana was at the premiere of Back to the Future in 1985. That's sad, given what we've just learnt about the future that wasn't to be. There's a very nice note, and I'm not going to read this out, but if you go online and check out a letter that Tom Wilson, who plays Biff in all the Back to the Future films, has written. It's like everything he gets asked about Back to the Future condensed into a note.
He also does a song. Have you seen his
He also
song?
does a song, yes.
Does he? Oh,
yeah.
Song.
The song is very
very
cool.
good.
Yeah, it's again, it's like that.
Right.
It's all
It's
good.
like
I think
the
you should
note.
read like the first sentence or two so people have an idea of what the tone is.
Okay, I can't do a Tom Wilson voice because who can?
Yeah, exactly.
So it begins, and I'll go on for as long as I can. Okay, so I'm Tom Wilson. I was in all three Back to the Futures. I was in all three Back to the Future movies. Michael J. Fox is nice. I'm not in close contact with him. Christopher Lloyd is nice. He is a very shy man. Crispin Glover is unusual, but not as unusual as he sometimes presents himself. We got along nicely. Leah Thompson is nice. Eric Stoltz originally played Marty, but was fired due to performance issues. The first movie was shot in 1984 and 85. The sequels were shot back to back. Never before attempted by a movie studio. The hoverboards didn't really fly. We were hanging by wires. No shit.
I like
else
his
in that?
general tone. It's kind of informative. There's a slight kind of hint of sort of passive aggressive that he's been asked these about a million times. It's like, please don't answer me. Questions.
That's why the hoverboard one is so funny, because it's like, I guess people have asked him, "Oh, the hoverboard's real? The hoverboard's real?"
Yeah.
It's like, no, go away.
No. But he keeps it. I mean, it's kind of light in tone.
Yeah, there's a bit of politeness there.
Yeah.
There's some cool stuff. I learned that among many improvisations on the set, I coined the term butthead, as well as make like a tree and get out of here, which I think is a very neat thing to have come up with.
I like that.
Yeah.
I use that. Oh, and also the more X-rated version.
What's that?
Make like a tree and F off.
Okay.
Which is a good one.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, so check him out. The song is
Definitely check out the song.
The song is particularly good. You can also learn what a key grip does on a set, which is a question I get asked a lot. What's a grip? What's a best boy? He will answer all those questions for you.
The fact that people have continuously asked him these questions.
Yeah, that's why it's neat. It's all it's all real stuff. Elijah Wood is in Back to the Future. Everyone knows that. There's a cartoon series. You can buy a box set of the whole thing. You can buy all 3 films and the cartoon of Back to the Future.
I don't really remember the cartoon.
Nope.
I remember it. There was. It's kind of neat to dig up because Christopher Lloyd, who plays Doc Brown, actually does like a live action intro to each episode in his lab, like with the DeLorean under the sheets and stuff like that. So it's worth watching for that because it's kind of cool to see him being Doc Brown at any point in time. And the cartoon, although it's a really kind of cheesy cartoon, has that at the start. So it's worth picking up for those. Kind of cool. Okay, so Back to the Future was one film before it was 2 films. Before it was a trilogy, sorry. So they made the one film, and then as many franchises get to the stage where they don't know if they're going to make sequels, so they make the first one, put loads of effort into the story of that, and then it does really well, and then they go, okay, well, let's make some sequels. And Back to the Future did a nice job of shooting 2 and 3 back to back and sorting out some problems, but they also basically decided that because time travel exists, we can kind of rewrite a lot of stuff now, relatively successfully, but some of it's a bit they decided that they needed Doc to be slightly younger so that when he went back to do Back to the Future 3 he didn't look like a creepy old man because he had like a romantic relationship. So because they go to 2015 where hover cars and flashy lights and stuff, he had this rejuvenation thing and you could take that off. So it's like with time travel you have the power to make up kind of anything you want, and I think it did okay. It's still a little bit kind of cringeworthy in some places. It's like, I see what you've done there. I
think they did the whole of trying to avoid the paradoxes and the sort of straight if you go back in time you change the future and then you can only jump sort of forward to the new future.
Yes, Back to the Future does time travel light.
Yeah.
Exactly. I like the way that it does it. It does time travel for kids.
Yes. And adults.
No, but like, you know, if kids watch Interstellar, but like if you watch Back to the Future, you get it.
It's time travel everyone can understand without having a headache, and that's very cool that they've pulled that off to the point where the story is that good that you don't notice the paradoxes or the plot holes. You just kind of go, this is just a nice story.
Well, I think it's also covered up by a veneer of like ridiculousness.
Yeah.
Like at no point does the film take itself seriously. DeLorean. Yeah, it doesn't take itself seriously, so you don't go, oh, but that's not right, because you're just like, like two ties. Yeah.
No, that's not great.
But did you want to talk about?
So yeah, it's it leads into.
I watched it.
Yeah, let's do. We did the homework. Let's do this. So no, it's just a way to bring up a point about films that use time travel as a way to kind of just make more sequels, I suppose. Back to the Future did it. They were able to use time travel to kind of create more storylines and keep going, and then obviously that treads on the toes of like previous films. They have to figure out a way of rewriting that, and obviously time travel allows you to do it. The other big franchise to do that is Terminator. Now, I think we've all seen every single one of those bloody films now.
Yep.
From what are we on? We're on 4, right? 1, 2, 3, and Genesis.
Wouldn't it be nice if we could go back in time and not watch them?
Christ, there's Salvation as well.
Yep.
That's also, they're all canon as well, I think. Right. They're all part of the same crazy storyline, and I in no way think they've pulled it off well at all. It's using the same kind of simple Hollywood structure of time travel, so it's like, yeah, anyone can understand this. Bad stuff happens, go back in time, fix that stuff. But then they wanted to make more films, so Terminator 2 kind of wraps everything up quite nicely. All the Terminators are dead.
Although they do break the they create a massive paradox in it.
Go on.
Because they make John Connor Carl Reese's son, so that infers that you can't alter. Like they've got a massive paradox. Because,
yes. So this is where paradoxes become a problem. Back to the Future sidesteps this quite well because they basically said we're not making any more. And they did 1, 2, and 3 and went, that's enough story. We could do a 4th one and you could go and tell more stories and it would make the other films kind of weaker. So back to the Terminator goes, this is very straightforward. A guy goes back in time, gives birth to the guy who sent him back in time, and you just go, okay, fine, the film's ended. I don't really need to think about that too much anymore. Terminator 2...
But that doesn't happen in the first one. You don't necessarily know that I don't think that's...
No, you infer it. Like, no. But you see at the start, John Connor sends Kyle Reese back and meets Linda Hamilton, who is his mum, and they have sex.
Yes.
And she's pregnant.
I don't think... Is she pregnant at the end of the film?
Go to it at the end.
Maybe.
Or you go, that's a cool...
Okay.
No, it's
it's a massive paradox in the whole story, which
it's a really interesting point.
Annoying.
Because if we went back and watched Terminator 1, maybe they do or don't do that. But it's nice that in that film, there's a little hint that, like, yeah, they had sex, so it's possible that Kyle Reese is John Connor's father. And it's like, that's cool.
Yeah.
So then you do the second one, and you go, okay, so if that happens, what do we do now? Oh, they could send another Terminator back who's more powerful than the last one, and then they can send another Terminator back to protect him.
But it also breaks the whole timeline thing.
It does. But Terminator 2 is a really good film.
Yes.
So you watch it and you go...
You can like...
Yeah, okay, I will follow this. And then you get to the end and you go, oh, that was a cool film. If you make sense of the time travel, yeah, it falls apart. But then they make 3, and then they make 4, and then they make a 5th one. And everything gets like weaker and weaker and weaker and weaker and weaker, whereby they have to keep going with timelines. And you have to make sense of the time periods because you haven't had like 1 or 2 quick films that were good. And
you can forgive them for the
it is a little bit about forgiving
they
stuff.
They sort of break it in the first one, and they go, right, well, we kind of already broken it.
Because time travel always breaks stuff. It's like if you make sense of time travel, it doesn't make sense. You can't make sense of it.
I think Back to the Future did a reasonable job in...
Back to the Future has questionable morals, which we can go into.
Oh well, there's the whole incest thing.
It's not that. It's not that. It changed people to make them better. It's a little bit
basically, bad. Am I right in saying that he every time he goes back, which is what is the present, always changes. He never goes back to a present that hasn't been altered by the past. So each time, so the way I understand time travel like logic is, as soon as you go back in time, you create a new timeline. So you can never go forward to the present that you've come from.
Yes.
So every time you go back, you always, because basically you're going back and your presence there has altered the future. Or the present as you've come from. So every timeline changes as soon as you go back in time. So and that happens in Back to the Future. The present never goes back to how it was originally.
That's a very good point, which is scary as hell.
So I think they kind of...
No, it's good, but they do come back at the end of... because Jennifer, who got nicely replaced as an actress between 1 and 2, is there, and then they're like, at the end of Back to the Future 1, we put her in the car. What do we do with her now? Let's knock her out and let's not do anything with her for the next 2 films.
Yeah.
So when they come back at Back to the Future 3, you're kind of reminded that happened and she was left on a porch, and it's like, yeah, she'll still be there. The timelines will have changed and she'll be unaffected.
Okay,
she'll be there.
So there are...
But no, I like what I like. The thing is, the reason that these films they don't hold up to that kind of like scrutiny is because you can imagine, there's still that really horrible future, and he's just abandoned a girl on a bench outside some guy's house. And although the future that he goes back to is nice and clean and sorted,
but
he's left a version somewhere, and he's left that timeline, and it's absolutely knackered, and it's like that's horrible.
Yeah.
And Back to the Future's not that kind of film.
No.
But Terminator is getting to that point where they're starting to come up with too many timelines.
But then do you want to talk about that Reddit feed
Yeah, go for it.
because that
Go for it.
actually did help me
Mm.
get in my head, and it made it all kind of work in some ways.
Yeah, let me just bring this up so we can.
Sorry, Tim. What were you going to say?
No. I mean, you can. I think you could just explain to the audience what that was. I think it's not too difficult.
No. It's okay. So it's a fan theories string on Reddit. Kicks Butson added this, and yeah, Andy will talk about why it's cool.
Basically, the whole premise is the John Connor who sends Kyle Reese back the first time is a different John Connor to the one that is created when Kyle Reese impregnates Sarah Connor.
Mm-hmm.
But because she's being conditioned and told about her son who becomes John Connor, she names him John Connor and she trains him to be a leader. So he then eventually also becomes this big leader.
Self-fulfilling.
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
But genetically, he's not necessarily the same
he's
person.
not necessarily the same one. So again, you go back to the theory where, so as soon as Kyle Reese goes back in time with the T100, that's an alternative timeline, and then you play that timeline out, and then the second John Connor, the new one, he then sends back another his father, and that can all still work, and that it does, and it doesn't quite break the logic. And it also kind of explains why he's such an arse.
He's not a
He's not the most likable.
No.
Although maybe a leader doesn't have to be necessarily that likable. But he kind of
it's a great explanation about you just want a film to go, okay, we've screwed the timeline so much, right? Let's dive into that and go, right, this is how you make sense of the timelines and make the film about that, rather than whatever the hell Terminator Genesis was about.
Well, that's exactly why I think that guy's theory is good, but not at all what the writers were thinking.
No.
I don't think
that's.
No.
I agree
That's why
with
the internet exists, to make sense of things that don't make sense.
Yeah, but you would have thought, because that was a year ago, you would have thought they, I don't know, might be able to do something about it. It's just, I don't know, I feel like the last 4 films have been putting plasters on a bit of a fundamental.
remember
Yeah,
much
no,
from the
absolutely.
third
It's like the sorry.
No, sorry. I just can't remember.
No, and it's the way they just keep laying stuff down. It's like, we've got to keep making these films, and like, respect to them for choosing to keep them all canon. They've not been reboots. Like Terminator Salvation was kind of a reboot, but it was in the future world, which you don't really see. So seeing that is kind of cool, and Arnie's in it. So
Yeah, but I guess they're kind of all a reboot, because you're always going.
Well, yeah, no, exactly.
back,
but they
so-
never mention that. They
No.
always have to try and go, okay, well, this timeline did exist, but now this exists.
But that is exactly what's frustrating about it for me, which is that every film is the same storyline.
Yeah, they just changed the
They
just changed
Okay,
Skynet
it's
to
new John Connor, new robot. Okay, and again.
What's
Go.
what's Skynet called in Terminator Genesis? It's Genesis,
Yeah.
but spelled correctly.
Isn't it? It's basically
Unlike
Google
the-
in the fourth one.
I like the fact that they reference that, like, you know what, this is how technology, like AI, is going to take over, because everyone's so plugged into everything. That's how it's going to happen, not with nukes, and that's kind of cool. But the film's garbage.
So I have to ask, CGI convinced?
I was fine with all of that.
Really?
I was absolutely fine.
Wow.
It happened way sooner than I thought it was going to happen, because in all the trailers you go, they build up to this
they're gonna
Arnie
build
versus
up.
old Arnie versus new Arnie sort of fight, or old versus older Arnie fight, and it happens way, way, way sooner than I thought it was going to, which I think is actually a bit rubbish. I'd have quite liked that to have been the kind of crux of everything.
Oh no, I'm really glad it wasn't. I'm really glad it got it out the way.
The fight's fine. It's just a fight.
Well, exactly. It's just a fight. So,
But if they'd made some kind of, like, it didn't feel like a pivotal point. It was just like a sort of side note. If there was a reason for old Arnie to be kicking the shit out of old, like this Arnie that came through in the 80s, it's like that would have been a really neat way to tie it all together. It's like, there's a reason this guy has to beat this guy so that this thing can happen. It's like, I would have liked the story to have revolved around that a little bit more, but it it didn't.
No.
It really didn't. And it really devalued Sarah Connor's character a whole lot, because they're trying to keep it all canon, as I keep saying, and they just don't think
All canon.
So they're all they're all the same timeline.
Right.
Although the timeline's all over the place. They're not like, this is a reboot, this is a reboot, this is a reboot. These are the same characters, same timeline, same Arnie. So it's all the same film. But they've got a new actress playing Sarah Connor. And if you take what's really cool about Terminator 1 and 2 is the jump from Sarah Connor in Terminator 1 to the jump to Sarah Connor in Terminator 2.
Yeah.
And she is entirely different because of the events of Terminator 1. And then you get Emilia Clarke playing Sarah Connor in Terminator Genesis, who in that timeline has had the contact of a Terminator since she was a little girl, and she is just nowhere near where Sarah Connor is in Terminator 2. And it's just really like, she's rubbish. I can't think that she could ever take care of herself, and it's so annoying.
Yeah.
It's so annoying.
I'm with you on that.
It's like, why the saddest thing about a Terminator film is when Arnie is the best thing about it. Like, he is the best actor in that film.
Yeah.
He's the best. Or every scene that he's in is the best thing about it. Anytime it goes anywhere else, it's just like, this is just the worst film. Yeah.
I wonder if in a funny way though, it's like they've fallen into a trap, which is actually good to see, which is that they go from, basically in the first film they create a loop.
Yes.
And therefore any other film can't be outside of that loop.
Yeah. It's like a weird growth. It's like every time you sort of like go, okay, we'll add something into that, the growth gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and this growth is something it's a tumor that just brings the whole thing down. But
fundamentally the start and the end of the film have to be the same.
Yeah.
And when your audience knows that, how do you make that interesting?
Yeah.
And when it's supposed to be the same characters in the same time, you're like making up, I don't know.
The everything about that film is just not quite right. Like we were talking about this earlier, Andy. It's just you've got all new cast except for Arnie. You got a new guy playing John Connor, and you got a new girl playing Sarah Connor. You got a new guy playing Kyle Reese as well. And these are all characters you know, but these are actors you've never seen before playing them. What the film assumes is that you have that emotional connection with them going into that film, but you really don't. So you have John Connor making this really emotional speech at the start, and you're like, I don't know who this guy is. You've not sold him to me in any way. Like, John Connor is not really a big deal in any of the other films except Salvation, and that's not so great. So I don't actually care too much for him. And then they do this whole montage sequence with him doing this big military speech, and you're like, I don't care. I quite like the machines. They look cool. They should win.
Yeah.
And then you see Sarah Connor, and you're like, she's totally different. And I don't actually buy her as a character, because if she has, as I said, had that contact with a Terminator and that lifestyle of the world is going to end, your son is going to be the savior, she doesn't look like she's in that place.
No. And
the film loses all credibility. And that's even before you start seeing John Connor turn into a bloody Terminator hybrid thing. I just don't care. I don't care. I'd rather spoil people. I came into this going, you know what, that's an enjoyable film. If it wasn't called Terminator Genesis, if you just called that Genesis and went, this is a film with some time travel and some robots, you go, okay, cool, that's an interesting film. It's a bit like iRobot. Go, okay, fine. But because it's got Terminator on the front, you
it's a bit like Terminator.
Yeah. But it'll be all right because it doesn't say Terminator on it. But it does, and I now don't like that film. And going into this, I liked it a little bit, and we've rationalized stuff. Yeah, you've talked it out of me.
Talked out all the love.
Yeah, it's all gone.
So in terms of like, what I'm thinking about whilst we're talking about this is what other time travel stuff is there? Films, series, like stuff that is more than a one-hit thing.
There aren't many. I tried to think about this. I was like, because Back to the Future and Terminator, I think, are on the same thing. We've kind of gone into like they both are original films that then went, okay, we need to make some sequels, so we need to make sense of stuff. Therefore, we'll use time travel to make sense of that, and we'll keep creating these new realities. Star Trek is the other one that does it, and I think I really like Star Trek. So this is Star Trek the reboot from J.J. Abrams.
Every time I see time travel, especially in Star Trek, I feel like they've run out of ideas. It's like we've got to the end. now what do we do? We've invented all the things we can think of easily. Time travel.
So the thing with Star Trek is I was not a big fan of original Star Trek. I'm a Next Generation kind of person because that's when I was growing up. But what I really liked about Star Trek is the time travel thing, because it allowed them to reboot the franchise without saying this is a reboot. It's like, okay, all these characters that you know still exist, as we've said, in this other timeline. This is another timeline. So we can go, okay, here's some nostalgia in the first film to go, this is a reset, but we're aware of everything that happened. So when it comes to making 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, blah, 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 they've got a little bit of like stuff to go on. What happened with that is the second one wasn't very good. So it's like they set up this really cool sort of kicking off point for the franchise to go, right, this is new stuff. We can kind of go wherever we want. But they just didn't make a good film. The first one's really neat, and it does really neat at the same time as acknowledging that all that other stuff that came before it. But they just came up with another really bad film that tried to go, here's the reboot, and this is the sequel, but we need to kind of just remake another film that we've made before with some slight differences, which is entirely not the point of rebooting it in the way they did. They just remade Wrath of Khan with some slight alterations, and it's like that's not what the first film set them up to do.
So other than Star Trek, which I don't think is like a series of time travel, I don't know if there's any time travel episodes or whatever that tie up.
Well, yeah.
No, I struggle to think. I do think there are films with time travel in them, but films that are centered around time travel and our franchises and keep going.
Series?
There's
TV series.
12
maybe?
Monkeys.
Yeah.
TV series is coming out.
Oh, there's a TV series.
They're doing a TV series. So 12 Monkeys is a good time travel film.
Yes.
I like it.
Yeah,
a lot.
that is good.
So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they do the time travel in the TV series. I don't know whether they're going to have it set,
but again,
primarily in one time.
They can go. Are they acknowledging the film?
Sorry, I've just thought of. Sorry, carry on.
I was just saying, are they acknowledging the film happened?
I have no idea.
Because that would be good to know. Like if they kick off from the point where the film ended.
Yeah, it could be a similar thing to like the Fargo TV series where it's the same world and similar.
Yeah.
But it doesn't necessarily reference the film. So
12 Monkeys I think works very well though, because it's kind of very self-contained. They use time travel like in the kind of like littlest amount that they can, I think. And if I picture a series, I picture them doing missions regularly back in time.
Yeah.
And I picture hating that, to be honest.
Yeah.
In the TV series?
Yeah.
You think it's going to be like Quantum Leap?
Well, because
Yes.
it could be like, here is your mission, go back, sort this thing out, come back, and end of the episode.
Yeah.
That's kind of where that could go. But no.
What was the other thing you thought of?
Quantum Leap. I was just about to say.
Yeah, that's familiar.
But Quantum Leap is
doesn't have
different.
A continuous timeline that you kind of you're jumping into. Yeah, and it does.
Same for Doctor Who. Like you just have a completely self-contained.
Yeah. So
jump in here.
Yeah. So the time travel it gives them a lot of freedom in terms of when they can set it and stuff. But yeah, I think what we're talking about is where you've got one timeline that you're jumping in and out.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't know whether I actually think anything's done it, like other than other than Back to the Future.
I think
Terminator's failed to do it. I think it's tried, but I think it's failed to do it.
See, I know I'd be very interested, and anybody who's listening, send some stuff in, because it will be really good to know if there are any other films that do that are more than one film that work off the same timeline but use time travel. Would be very cool to know if there's anything else out there, because there can't be just two.
Butterfly
Effect can't be just two.
Which I've seen the first one. I haven't seen the second.
Yeah, the butterfly. I really like the Butterfly Effect. I feel like we may end up watching a ton of really bad films to fully research this. But yeah, that's another one where I think they jump to different characters in that one, which I think might take it away from. I think maybe it's brothers and sisters. I think of the sort of main character who was in Butterfly Effect 1, which was Ashton Kutcher, I think. So maybe we should look into that, because there's like at least 2 sequels to that.
Right.
Which
Jules Verne. Mm-hmm. Is there multiple? Like, because they did time traveling film.
Time Machine.
The Time Machine.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was just
But
the
it
one
was just
film.
the one-off,
Yeah,
isn't
that's
it?
the thing. It's like there are tons of films with
But
time
there
travel
was-
in them.
But what was there? God, this is strange. But wasn't there something like Jules Verne appearing in something like Clark and Lois?
Probably Lois and Clark.
Lois and Clark.
The Superman
Sorry. Yeah.
show.
Yeah. Or something like that.
Maybe. I don't think that's gonna be. I don't think that's gonna be our example.
No, but there were several episodes, I think, that all tried to tie together.
Bill and Ted might be one to look at.
Ooh,
So Bill and Ted is at least 2 films that revolve around time travel.
that's true.
But they don't really delve into rewriting history and things like that. I know in the second one they collect lots of historical figures and take them to their school to present, but there's no
Presumably
you don't
taken
see
back.
that you don't see the consequences. Yeah, there's no consequences in those films. But Back to the Future, however light the time travel science is, it's still got some consequences. I don't know. Interesting. Maybe we should look into that
Yeah.
a little bit more.
But because it happens so like infrequently, I almost avoid all time travel things.
No, you just wonder who's behind the Terminator franchise. Going, yeah, let's keep going. We can make this work. We can get this done. And they're like, no one else is doing this. No one else can do this successfully because X, Y, and Z of time travel. But they're like, nah, it'll be fine. Terminator's in the title. Arnie's in it. He's on board.
What are the figures like? Did they make
No.
money?
So there's, I don't know if you watched the post-credit sequence or the middle credit sequence. There's a little bit after the film finishes in Terminator Genesis. So the building that Skynet or Genesis is in gets blown up because that's the end of the film. They blow that place up, and after the credits there's a shot of the rubble, and then they go down, and underneath there's like this weird ball thing, and for a split second you see the holographic representation of Genesis, who's the little kid that starts talking to them, who eventually becomes Matt Smith. And that's a little tease because they wanted to turn it into more films. They wanted to go from there and go, okay, these are now our new characters new actors playing these characters, and we'll make 3 more films or whatever. But the film didn't make any money and they've been cancelled.
Thank goodness.
So that's not happening.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
But make another superhero
the thing is, the really bad thing about this is, and it's really horrible to say this, but is like, as long as Arnold Schwarzenegger is alive, that timeline exists. Because
I was thinking this.
Because every time they make one, they're like, yeah, let's get Arnie back. He needs to be in it. And it's like, that's what
haven't
ties
they
it.
just fixed that?
No, because he's now upgraded. He's now liquid metal. Did you see that? Because he died and then he went into the liquid metal and it rebooted him, and now he's liquid metal.
But now they're going to have to try and explain why he's old again.
Which you saw.
Yes. Yes.
No. What I mean, though,
and
is,
so continues this grotesque thing that
what
they're
I mean
trying
is
to do.
though that they've transitioned to digital Arnie.
I thought Digital Arnie was okay.
Okay.
I thought Digital Arnie was
Fine.
like...
It was better
That's-
than digital.
That's
Jeff,
absolutely fine.
Bridges.
Yes, he was better than Digital
And also,
anybody.
I think it also helped that Arnie couldn't really do acting much in the first one, and kind of looked a bit wooden. and
Yeah.
that kind of helped.
Well, like I said before as well, he kind of looks a little bit plastic anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Yes. Yeah. No, I think actually... maybe if the film had been better, you go, the Arnie stuff was a bit rubbish, but that was actually the better thing
Because there was
that came out of that film. I enjoyed that way more than anything else.
because it doesn't really matter if there's a slight uncanny valley sort of.
No,
thing,
with
'cause-
he's an
'cause he is-
inanimate object,
yeah.
so it's okay. Cool. All right. I think that that concludes time travel for today. Unless anybody's
I like this
got
theme. I think we should have more themes.
well, things
I mean,
like
not
things
necessarily.
like Back to the Future Day don't come along all that often, and there is no other franchise like Terminator that we could talk
I
about.
think we're missing something obvious. I think we'll remember it once it.
What that we
Once
didn't
we're
that we didn't do?
Yeah, like a time travel film. Or like series,
yeah, maybe
like, you know,
yeah, maybe.
connected.
Yeah, I'm sure it's
Time
something.
tunnel.
The thing is, I'm sure it's something we've never seen. That's what I think it's going to be. I think it's just something we're not aware of at all. I think it's something we've not
Really?
seen. Yeah, I think so. Because there's very few films that go into sequels that you kind of don't. I don't know. Maybe we should know about it. But there might be TV shows like Sliders.
There was Sliders. That's what I was trying to think of.
Sliders was closer
time
than
travel?
Was that the one with the wormhole in the basement?
yes, with John Rhys Davies. Yeah, so that was a little bit different. That was like dimension jumping.
Yeah.
But there were alternate Earths.
At different time periods, but it was different. It was like
Yeah.
a multiverse rather than time
Yeah,
travel.
yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were just trying to get back.
And is that? Yeah. Quantum Leap is kind of a fusion, right? Like it's kind of like time travel, but with multiverses as well.
I don't know. Time travels.
No
He just jumps into
multi-
Or
people.
is it just
He
time
just
travel?
Yeah.
no, it's not even time travel really, because like it's only time travel because he just jumps into a random person. It's like it's
Yeah,
not
okay.
strict time travel. He's like he jumps into this person because
But he's also altering like what happened in
That's
that
true.
time.
That's true.
So he's basically it's almost
Yeah.
like he's fixing
time.
time.
and he is going
like,
through time. He's not
problems.
just like different people within his timeline.
Yeah,
He is going but he is jumping through time to different time periods.
yeah.
Because I didn't watch a lot of Quantum Leap. He's not like going to
I think it's
he's
all
not
within
going to
his
the,
lifetime as well.
Yeah.
So he can't jump into someone before he was.
Because I thought it was just
He
a
was
collection of
born.
interesting stories. Say he's 30 years old and he jumps into someone else who is the same age as he is when he's 30 years old. I thought it was just like he jumped around his present day, just around the world.
No. Because I think he jumps into his younger self at one point and stuff.
Yeah.
and-
Oh,
and-
so
There's
maybe
lots
Quantum
of-
Leap is the thing we're looking for. Maybe Quantum Leap does screw
well-
itself. Maybe.
Well, I think the whole premise is that it's screwing up the timeline each time. So
Okay.
I don't know how often they go into the same story. And the last episode's really weird and doesn't really explain very much.
Hmm.
It's definitely
Okay.
Yeah.
Could you just hit the space bar? Just want to make sure.
still recording.
Yeah. Cool. All right.
Okay.
Well, thank you guys.
No worries.
So we have one more thing to do tonight, which we need to. There's a Star Wars trailer out tonight. So it will be on Monday Night Football in America, which means we'll get it kind of later. I reckon we'll get it about 10 o'clock. So we will do a thing maybe where we watch that and film a
I'll have
reaction
watch
to it.
with my eyes closed.
You don't have to watch it. You could hold the camera with earplugs in. But yeah, if Star Wars trailer comes out today, next time on the podcast we'll be talking quite a lot about the Star Wars trailer. So look forward to that.
Okay.
All right. Thank you guys.
Cool.
Alright.
Cheers.
Cheers. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye bye.